pathetic parlor magic cannot save you.
Nothing there. Nothing to be had there.
Hey, you're finally back. You have to go see Zardus right away. There's a problem.
That I certainly believe.
All hell's broken loose since you left. Talk to Zardus. He's waiting for you. Zardus gave me this rune for you. It'll help you get to him faster. We'll meet again there. Nobody wants to know.
You hardly know who to believe these
Show me your wares.
Of course. It's an honor for me to receive such an important guest.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Same old thing all over again.
You listen to the wrong people.
Nobody wants to know.
There's nothing you can do about it.
I'm staying out of it.
He never would have thought of that himself.
He really should have known better.
I'm no better off myself.
Same old thing all over again.
If he doesn't see that, I can't help him.
I used to say that myself.
Of course.
Do you really believe that?
Can't rely on that.
I'm not telling you anything new.
That was no big deal.
I'm not telling you anything new.
Nobody wants to know.
You hardly know who to believe these days.
Things I could tell you.
Do you really believe that?
It was his decision, wasn't it?
Don't tell me.
Hey! I'm back from the Valley of Mines.
High time, too. What did you see?
You were right. The land's been overrun by an entire army of the enemy. Orcs are besieging the castle, and dragons have laid whole areas to waste. It won't be long before they attack Corinus, if I'm not mistaken. Lester said you wanted to see me at once. What the hell has happened here in the meantime?
The enemy has learned who you really are, and that you're planning to get hold of the Eye of Innos. He has recognized the threat. It has forced him to leave his cover and openly attack. The game of hide and seek is over. Yesterday, nobody knew what the enemy's attack would look like. Now it has become only too obvious.
I finally got the proof that Lord Hagen demanded of me.
What proof is that?
I received a letter from Garand, the commander of the Paladins in the Valley of Mines. In it, he asks for reinforcements.
That should be enough to convince that militant warhorse. Well done.
I was attacked by magicians in black robes.
The enemy has many faces. The Seekers are one of them. They're really the ones who prepare the ground for the enemy. They have taken up their positions in strategic places and are now only waiting for an opportunity to spring the trap. Stay out of their way. They are very powerful magical beings, and they will try to deter you at any cost.
What will be the next step now?
Go and bring Lord Hagen the letter from Garand, so that he may grant you access to the Eye of Innos. Then go to the monastery and talk to Pyrokar. He must give you the eye. Nothing is more important than getting this artifact away to safety. Go now before it's too late. The enemy will also try to lay his hands on it.
Don't tell me that. He can't keep anything to himself.
But that's terrible. That's an open secret.
Show me your wares.
And he works all day, too. He can't keep anything to himself.
He can't keep anything to himself. How interesting.
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
And he works all day, too.
You don't say.
Someone's gonna do the work.
Who says things like that?
Really? How interesting.
He simply talks too much.
I can't take care of everything for everybody.
I don't believe that.
That's not what my husband thinks.
It was just like you said. But
Innos beheld what Beliar had done, and he also bestrode the land and chose the...
Can't go on like this forever.
That doesn't surprise me.
Good thing you're here.
Go on like this
You need to help me.
What are you doing here?
I've been observing the guards. They're constantly on their toes. I don't think it will be easy for me to get through there.
There's nothing you can do about it.
What kind of clothes are these?
I bought them from a trader outside of town. The guards wouldn't let me in at first. Also, there's no need to let the whole world know where I come from.
You've got a point there.
That's the way I see it. But even though I've dumped my shadow garb, I'm still who I always was. And I have big plans for this city.
What is this about?
A lot of things have changed since I left here. I have to get back on my feet somehow.
What's the problem?
I have to get into the upper quarter. But I'm not a citizen of the town, and I don't have enough money to bribe the guards. That's where you come in.
So you want me to lend you some gold?
Nonsense. I've got some gold. A whole lot of gold, even. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. You need to go fetch my gold for me.
It was just like you said.
Okay, I'll help you.
Well, listen. Back when the barrier was still in place, I hid a small treasure. It's been quite a while. That's why I forgot to take it with me. And I can't leave here at all at the moment. To cut a long story short, you must go to the Valley of Mines for me and fetch my gold.
Where's the gold hidden?
Directly at the trading square, above the abandoned mine. It's in a leather satchel. Spare yourself that comment. I know myself that we must have walked right past it. Just bring me the bag. But don't forget to check that it's the right one, so you don't walk all that way for nothing.
How can I recognize it?
It's full of gold. A whole lot of gold.
Where did you pick that up?
Where did you get all that gold?
Am I the only one, then, who put some gold aside for himself in the Valley of Mines? Filching a few nuggets was a piece of cake, just in case we ever got out of there. Everybody was so keen on that ore that no one even cared for gold at the time.
You listened to the wrong people.
Don't say you didn't know that.
What are you planning to do with the gold?
I still have an account to settle with one of the merchants in the upper quarter. I need to take care of that. And then I'll be all set for a new career.
Do you really believe that?
I'll try to find your gold.
Just do it. That's enough for me.
But no, he insisted he knew better.
I found your gold.
Great. Show me. Very good. Gerbrant had better watch out now. Listen, I still need to take care of the guards. I want you to take this letter to Gerbrant. He is one of the fat merchants in the upper quarter. Give him my regards. I'll meet you in front of Gerbrant's house then.
I can't take care of everything for everybody.
Don't say you didn't know that.
Diego says hello.
What? Who? What Diego?
And he wants me to give you this letter.
That can't be. No. I'm a goner. Is he in town then?
Who?
Diego, of course.
Yes, I'm gonna meet him here shortly.
Oh, this is the end then. All is lost. I've got no time. I need to get out of here. Quick! If he finds me here, I'm done for.
I've been to the Valley of Mines.
And? How's the situation there?
The mines are all depleted. There's barely more than a few chests full of ore. It's hardly worth digging for that.
That can't be true. That means I'm ruined.
What about our deal?
Now, about your reward. Here, take this runestone.
No idea. You tell me.
couldn't care less.
Hey,
I've got some special snapper claws for you.
My customer will be happy to hear that. I don't have the runestone here, but I know where it can be found. On your way from town to the inn, you'll pass under a bridge. There, in a cave, a friend of mine has deposited a runestone in a chest. Here's the key.
He can't keep anything to himself. He better shut it.
And it entered into Beliar's realm.
Things I could tell you. That's really not my problem.
I bring you news from Garand. Here, he gave me this message for you.
Our situation is worse than I had feared, but report to me on the situation in the Valley of Mines.
The Paladins are holed up in the castle in the Valley of Mines, surrounded by orcs. There were many casualties in the prospecting operations, and there's barely any ore left. Well, I should say that without any help, the lads are lost. That's how it looks.
I shall find a way to rescue this expedition. You have done much for us. Innos will thank you.
I'm not all that interested in his gratitude. I want his eye.
Yes, of course, I stand by my word. Take this letter. It will open the monastery gates to you. Speak with Pyrokar, the highest fire magician, and show him this authorization. He will grant you access to the Eye of Innos. One more thing before you go. Take this rune as a token of my gratitude. It will take you safely back to the city whenever you want.
That will never change.
I'm not telling you anything new.
I used to say that myself.
Hey, you! I delivered the letter.
very good. How did Gerbrand take it?
He was rather shocked and made himself scarce right away.
I should think so. I'm afraid that, first of all, I need to attend to furnishing my new house. If I remember correctly, Gerbrand's taste is horrible.
The house is yours then?
Yes, from cellar to attic, with all the furnishings. Having spent several years in less than befitting quarters, I'm looking forward to sleeping in a soft four-poster bed. And then, for breakfast, I'll have a fine wine and some excellent ham.
You don't miss any chances, do you?
You betcha.
So how did you pull this off?
Did you think that Gerbrand came by his fortune through honest business? Of course, he never got his fingers dirty when it came to really shady deals. He had a helper for that. Of course, I caught on to a lot back then. Gerbrand finally got rid of me. He was probably afraid that I knew too much.
You never told me about that.
You never asked me.
What about my share?
Looks like you haven't forgotten everything I've taught you after all. But you're right. I couldn't have done it without you. Here's your share.
What about Gerbrand?
He has enjoyed the good life for far too long. He was living here in the lap of luxury while I was forcing down meat bug stew. I have no idea where he went from here, but he'll never get a foothold in Corinus again. I'll see to that. If you're looking for him, you should try the Harbor District.
How's business?
Lousy. Somebody should have told me that Corinus has gone to the dogs in the meantime.
That's no news. I've only known the city like this.
You should have seen it a few years ago. You would have liked it then.
I used to say that myself.
Weak little mageling. You will never be able to match the power of the Master.
Hey, you. I see you belong to the Magician's Monastery.
Yes, why?
Can you use another worker there? I wouldn't know where else to turn.
Where do you come from?
I used to be captain of a big whaler, my boy. The sea is my home. My ship, the good old Magdalena, was sunk by pirates a few months ago, and now I'm stranded here. All I ever wanted was to go back to sea. But since I've come here, not one schooner is called at this accursed port. The only ship which is anchored in Corinthus is that blasted war galley of the king, and they don't take on anyone. So what else can I do? There's no work for me in town. I've tried everything.
You'd better get off the road.
Don't worry. I've already noticed that the wilderness out here has become damn dangerous in the last couple of days.
How did you get to the monastery so fast?
What kind of a question is that? I crept through the pass and made my way straight to the monastery. Admittedly, it was never easy avoiding all the monsters making themselves at home on this side of the valley, but ultimately I encountered fewer problems than I expected.
Do you know where the others are?
Gorn seems to have coped with his stay in Garon's dungeon very well. In any case, he wanted to go to Lee and see what was happening on the farm. After the grub they serve in the dungeon, he's probably stuffing his face right now and putting the mercenaries' provisions to a real test. Diego mumbled something about a reckoning. No idea what he meant by that. But I suspect he's in the city. You know him. Always there when there's something to be had.
Teach me the third circle of magic.
Yes, the time has come. Enter now the third circle of magic. New spells await you. You will need them. For evil draws nigh, and it can be thwarted only with the power of Innos. I have now taught you all of the circles that I can pass on. Karas will instruct you in the higher circles.
Been known a long time.
Teach me.
Anything's possible.
He never would have thought of that himself.
May Innos protect you.
That's totally obvious.
I'm not telling you anything new.
Hey, you! Teach me. Hey, you!
Who told you that? says in the scriptures.
I'd have gone about it differently.
Do you really think?
It's not what I heard.
Anything's possible.
Someone will have to pay for
May
it.
Innos protect you.
That's nothing new.
You listen to the wrong people.
That's nothing new.
You listen to the wrong people.
Do you really think?
It's a bad business.
No one must violate the divine order.
I've come from the old Valley of Mines.
What do you have to report?
The enemy has formed up there with an army of orcs and dragons.
We have already learned that from Milton. But what about the king's shipment of ore?
The mine they are digging for Garand in the valley cannot satisfy the demands of the king.
The days are becoming grayer, and the light of the sun is ever weaker.
I was attacked by men in black robes.
I know. Those are the Seekers, henchmen from the nether realms of Beliar. Beware of them. They will try to take possession of you. Once possessed, you will no longer be yourself. Only here in the monastery could you find help then, so be careful. I have asked Karas to look into this matter. He will certainly win some further insight soon, which can make us see clearer. Here, this rune will bring you directly back to the monastery if you need our help. Remember, we must offer resistance, or we shall all be doomed.
I have come to take the Eye of Innos.
I see that you have received an authorization from Lord Hagen himself to bear the Eye of Innos. I am afraid that I have to disappoint you. We have fallen victim to a treacherous plot of the enemy. The Eye of Innos has been violently taken from these sacred walls.
Who could be so impudent, Master?
Evil is cunning, and usually works in secret. Only rarely do you see it emerge to pursue its evil machinations in broad daylight. But these days, it's a different matter. The enemy now shows himself openly in the street, in every home and every public square. This can only mean that he no longer fears any adversary and is not going to shrink back from anything. One of our most faithful followers, a candidate for the high robe of the Magicians of Fire, has changed his allegiance unexpectedly, and in an alarmingly evil manner. Pedro. The enemy has taken possession of him, thus inflicting a terrible defeat upon us. Pedro has forced his way into our most sacred halls and stolen the eye. I fear that he simply spent too much time by himself, outside of the gates, and thus beyond the protective walls of the monastery, exposed to all lurking dangers.
Where did the thief flee to?
Pedro knocked down some of the other novices who tried to stop him and disappeared into the morning mist. Many novices have gone after him to bring the eye back to its place unharmed. If you want to catch up with them, you need to hurry before Pedro disappears out of your reach.
Who told you that?
Nobody will learn anything from me.
You should have known better. Who told you that?
I'm no better off myself.
You really think?
Hey, you! Do you know where Pedro is?
Do you think I'd be standing around here if I knew where the renegade was hiding? He must pay for his deeds. I hope we manage to get the eye back. You have to help us. Find him and bring back the Eye of Innos.
Have you seen a novice walk past?
Yeah, sure. He went, that away. He jumped into the water off the bridge and swam like a shark was after him.
If you're headed for the monastery, you should talk to Milton. He'll surely be able to help you.
What do you think? Would they let me in there at all?
Perhaps, but the way you look, I can hardly imagine you in a novice's robe.
Enough of that nonsense. Novice's robe, indeed. It's the grub I'm after, or I'll be forced to eat the bark off the trees next.
What's going on here?
What do you mean?
You're the second fellow to rush past here like he's been stung by blood flies.
Who was the other guy?
He looked like one of those brainy novices from the monastery back there. You can say what you like, but somehow those guys aren't quite right in the head. Just look at their silly clothes. I wouldn't want to be caught in the street at night in those.
Be careful what you say. I used to be a novice in the monastery myself.
You poor swine. That certainly explains a few things. No offense. Be on your way. You're a busy man. Don't let me keep you.
Where did the other one go?
He ran up that way like lightning.
I need to get going.
Hey, no problem.
Nothing there. Plunder. Nothing there. Hey! What are you doing here?
What's it to you?
I'm looking for a novice.
That's very interesting. We're looking for someone too.
Who would that be?
You.
You shouldn't have come here!
I have found the Eye of Innos. It's broken.
But that cannot be. What happened?
Some really nasty customers had it. Anyway, I came too late. They were performing a strange incantation on a crescent-shaped ritual site up in those woods.
Innos be with us. They have desecrated our circle of the sun. Even in my worst nightmares, I could never have imagined they would possess this kind of power.
What can we do now?
The enemy has become very strong. Still, this ancient artifact meant a powerful threat to him. We must heal the eye and restore its old power, but time works against us. I cannot begin to imagine what is now going to become of us all. Without the protection of the eye, we are helplessly at the mercy of the enemy. Go to Vatras, the water mage in town. In this terrible situation, only he will know what is to be done. Take the eye to him, and hurry!
What is the Circle of the Sun?
Every year, all the magicians and novices of the monastery travel to this place at the time of the solstice to mark the beginning of a new cycle. The place is filled with the immeasurable power of the sun. Never have I entertained the slightest notion that its power could be reversed. And yet, that is what happened.
Why Vatras?
The privilege of the robe does not authorize you to question my instructions, brother. Vatras is a servant of Aldanos. The knowledge of the water mages alone will bring us clarity in this dark hour. That is all you need to know.
Heal me, Master, for I am possessed.
So be it. Take this potion. It will relieve you of your nightmares. May the mercy of Innos be your salvation. Act on his behalf, and beware of the evil eye of the enemy.
Not so fast. I have another task for you.
And that is...
Now that you belong to the Brotherhood of Fire, you must also fulfill the duties that come with being one of us. The Church is not only concerned with the affairs of magic, it is also the final authority in the administration of justice, as you know. The latest case brought before us opens up a bottomless abyss and must be dealt with once and for all.
Isn't that the militia's business?
The militia is responsible for the city alone. This affair has far-reaching consequences.
What's this about?
There is someone in the city who has sold falsified shares in the ore mines of the former penal colony. These papers are utterly worthless and of no importance, really. Still, they have the potential of stirring up trouble among the people, which we cannot afford to happen right now. The swindler is supposed to have approached all of the most reputable traders in the city and the country, and has evidently managed to sell his counterfeit mining shares to some of them. Find this evildoer and bring him before this panel. In such hard times, we must not suffer swindlers and plunderers. We must make an example of him in order to deter the rest of the mob.
I'll try to clear up the matter.
One thing more. When you visit those traders, do not let them know that you are looking for mining shares. I think they probably want to sell them on, and certainly would no longer offer them to you if they realized that you are dealing with them on behalf of the church. Do you see?
Yes.
Then get to work. I wish you much success, brother.
One more little thing. Stay away from the roadside shrines. We have heard that some of them have been desecrated. No one can say what effect they have now. It is not your task to solve this problem. The paladins will take care of this matter.